Picture this. You're dating a woman everyone is crazy about. Smart, beautiful, catches every eye in the room, and you treat her like a treasure. Flowers, expensive dinners, good morning texts every single day. You're the perfect man her mother told her about. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. She's bored of you, and you don't even understand why. What I'm about to tell you will shatter your understanding of relationships and women. This is the harsh truth that 97% of men will never accept. For a woman to truly want you, love you, and stay loyal to you, she must never be 100% sure of your affection. She must always feel like she needs to reach up for you to earn your attention. The moment she feels she has completely won you over, her hunter instinct shuts down. Your predictable availability becomes a burden to her, not a prize. The golden rule. Before we continue, let's be clear. I'm not talking about cruelty or abuse. I'm talking about understanding the deep psychological mechanisms that drive female attraction. And if you stay with me for the next 15 minutes, I'll show you the exact psychology of why women lose interest in good guys. And more importantly, how to use this knowledge to create the deep, lasting attraction most men only dream of. This is possibly the most important video on female psychology you will ever watch. So pay attention. Let's start with the first point. Women are biologically programmed to seek men with a higher survival value than themselves. They don't decide this consciously. It's wired into their DNA over millions of years of evolution. In ancient times, women who chose men with the best resources, strength, and status were more likely to survive and raise healthy offspring. And those who fell for the nice guy who just brought them flowers, their genetic line died out because that guy couldn't protect her from the neighboring tribe or provide food in the winter. This program is called hypergamy, and it's still active in every woman's subconscious. Even though we live in a world with supermarkets and security services, her brain is running on ancient software. When a woman feels a man's value is lower than or equal to her own, her attraction circuits simply shut down. For hundreds of thousands of years, women had to be incredibly selective. Pregnancy made them vulnerable, and raising children required huge resources. A mistake in choosing a partner could cost her and her offspring their lives. This created intense evolutionary pressure. Women are only attracted to those who demonstrate superiority. And these ancient programs are running right now in every interaction you have. When you act needy, desperate, or too accommodating, you send signals that meant weakness and poor survival chances to our ancestors. Her subconscious catches these signals and reduces attraction. This brings us to the concept of sexual market value. Dating is a marketplace where everyone has a value based on looks, resources, personality, and status. The cruel reality is that women are only truly attracted to men whose value they perceive as higher than their own. And this is the main mistake. Guys think this value is your job, your car, or your muscles. Yes, that matters, but it's not the main thing. The perception of your value depends much more on how you carry yourself, how you interact with her, and most importantly, how badly you need her approval. Here's a real example. I had a friend, a successful lawyer, BMW, great shape. He showered women with compliments, took them to the best restaurants, was available 24/7. But despite all the external markers of high value, women lost interest in him after a couple of weeks. Now compare that to another guy, a bartender, lived in a studio, but he had an abundance mindset. He'd take girls for coffee, playfully tease them, and never stressed if they didn't text back. Women became obsessed with him, constantly trying to win his attention. The difference? The second guy understood that perceived value is more important than actual value. He carried himself like a man with options, while the first guy's behavior screamed, "Please don't leave me." Women are constantly scanning for social cues about your value. They watch how you handle rejection, how you react to their tests, how you hold yourself in a group. These behavioral markers matter more than your bank account. Here's the second golden rule. The less certain a woman is about your interest, the more mental energy she invests in thinking about you. This is basic psychology. We value what we're uncertain about and take for granted what we're sure of. When you immediately show all your cards, text constantly, and make it obvious you're smitten, you remove all mystery and challenge. She no longer has to work for your attention. You're giving it away for free. The psychology of attraction. But when you maintain a level of uncertainty, magic happens. Her brain starts working frantically. Does he like me? Why didn't he text back? What is he doing? This mental occupation is the foundation of attraction. Picture this: you meet her, have a great chat, exchange numbers. The average guy texts the next day, "Hey, that was an incredible evening. You're amazing. When can I see you again?" The guy who understands attraction waits 2 to 3 days. Then he sends a simple coffee Tuesday at 300 p.m. No extra enthusiasm, no validation, just a clear invitation that shows interest but not desperation. This is the psychological principle. Humans are hooked by intermittent reinforcement. When we get rewards predictably, we get used to them and lose interest. But when the reward is unpredictable, we get hooked. Your attention works on the same principle. Give it constantly, she gets used to it. Give it unpredictably, she gets hooked on it. Think of your attention and approval as a currency. Like any currency, its value is determined by scarcity. Give away your validation for free, it's worthless. Make her earn it, it becomes priceless. Most men make a fatal mistake. They front load all their validation. They compliment her nonstop, agree with everything, and make it clear she's the best thing that ever happened to them. They don't realize they just spent their entire emotional budget in the first week. Women are incredibly skilled at reading your level of investment. She doesn't need you to say, "I love you." She sees it in how fast you reply, how you light up when she enters the room, how you move your schedule for her whims. Here's what you need to understand. Women want to feel special, but they want to earn that feeling. When you give it away for free, it loses all meaning. I had a friend who was dating a model. She was used to men fing over her. Instead of showering her with compliments about her looks like everyone else, he would occasionally note her intelligence when she said something insightful or praise her sense of humor. The key was that his validation was conditional and depended on her behavior, not her existence. She had to earn his approval, which made it 1,000 times more valuable than the empty compliments from other men. Predictability. One of the fastest ways to destroy attraction is to become predictable. When she knows exactly how you'll react, when she knows your schedule, when you become an open book, her interest will inevitably fade. This is why so many relationships start passionately and then slide into a routine. The man, in an attempt to be a good boyfriend, becomes completely predictable. He calls at the same time, takes her to the same places, reacts the same way. Predictability signals to her subconscious that she has figured you out. She no longer needs to invest mental energy in understanding you, and when she stops investing mental energy, she stops feeling attraction. This is why the bad boy stereotype is so powerful. It's not that women are attracted to men who treat them poorly. They are attracted to unpredictable men who keep them in suspense, who don't follow the typical guy script. And here's what will blow your mind. Women are constantly testing you, but they aren't testing your competence. They are testing your level of interest. They are checking how much you are invested in them. Every time she acts cold, mentions another guy, or seems unimpressed with your success, she is measuring your reaction to see if you will chase her for approval. When you fail these tests by immediately trying to win back her favor, you are essentially telling her, "I like you more than you like me." And as soon as she knows that, the power dynamic shifts forever in her favor. Once she holds that power, her attraction instinctively plummets. It is biologically impossible for her to desire a man she perceives as beneath her. Your neediness has just confirmed her subconscious suspicion that you are, in fact, the lower value partner. Here are a few examples of tests. First, the comparison test. She mentions how attractive another man is or talks about an ex. The failing response is to get jealous or try to outdo him. The correct response is to be completely unbothered, maybe even agree. Second, the availability test. She suggests meeting, then cancels at the last minute. The failing response is to get upset and immediately suggest another time. The correct response is, "Okay, no problem," and go do your own thing. Third, the attitude test. She gets snippy or acts cold. The failing response is, "What's wrong, honey?" Or trying to cheer her up. The correct response is to mirror her energy and be just as cold until she corrects her behavior. This isn't conscious manipulation. It's unconscious behavior driven by her need to assess your value. When you pass these tests by staying unbothered, you show that you aren't desperate for her. When a woman perceives a man's value as low, her body literally begins to reject him on a biological level. This doesn't happen consciously. Her brain sends signals that this man is genetically not good enough for reproduction. This manifests as a loss of sexual desire, irritability, and a feeling that something is off. This is why women in relationships stop wanting their partners. It's not because they don't love them, it's because their biology is telling them not to reproduce with someone weak. Her subconscious has decided you've become weak. You can't stand up to her, which means you can't stand up for her. This is painful, but it's liberating. When you realize her loss of interest isn't personal, it's biological. You can start making the changes that will reignite her attraction. There's an interesting phenomenon. When a woman is unsure of your interest, she switches from covert communication to overt. Normally, women communicate with hints. I'm cold instead of give me your jacket. I'm hungry instead of let's go eat. But when she's afraid of losing you, she becomes direct, more affectionate, more obvious about her feelings. She texts, I miss you so much, or I can't wait for tonight. This shift happens because her hypergamous instinct is telling her, he might be more valuable than I thought. I can't lose him. When a woman likes you, she replies on time, calls back, asks about your day. She switches to overt communication because hypergamy cannot stand to lose a valuable prize. Most relationship advice is wrong. They tell you, go to the gym, earn more, dress better. This can help, but it's not the main point. You can be the most successful, handsome man, but if you demonstrate low value behavior, she will lose interest. I've seen millionaires get dumped by baristas because the millionaires didn't understand these principles. And I've seen average guys with average jobs keep beautiful women obsessed because they knew how to hold the psychological dynamic. They understood that attraction doesn't live in a bank account, but in the tension they create. In the end, a woman doesn't care about your wallet. She cares about how you make her feel. Real power lies in the ability to control her emotional state, not external resources. Your behavior, not your assets, determines your rank in her eyes. External improvements open the door, but psychological positioning keeps her interested. Self-improvement is not the answer. Passing the interest tests is the answer. It doesn't matter how much you earn. Showing excessive interest is what reveals your market value. A man who is overly eager signals that he is not used to getting women of her caliber. This behavioral cue instantly lowers his perceived value, regardless of his job title or the car he drives. Therefore, mastering your own emotional investment and reactions is the true key, not just upgrading your external stats. Poor treatment. This is the most paradoxical point. Women often choose men who treat them worse over men who treat them better, not because they like to suffer, but because poor treatment often signals high value. When a man is willing to risk losing a woman by not putting her needs at the center of the universe, it shows he has options. When he isn't seeking her approval, it means he doesn't need her validation to feel good. The good guy, conversely, signals with his behavior that he's just grateful to be near her. He's so afraid of losing her that he projects low value in every action. His fear of losing her is unconsciously perceived as weakness. And weakness is the main repellent for female attraction. This is why women stay with men who treat them poorly. They have something to reach up for. And this is why they leave men who treat them well. If you treat a woman too well, rest assured she will leave. All women leave men who treat them too well. The more dates you suggest, the more you call, the more she thinks, oh, he loves me so much. How sweet. I don't like him anymore. Attraction doesn't obey logic. It can't be triggered by gratitude or a sense of duty. It's a pure primal instinct that you either ignite or you don't. Women don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with how men make them feel. When you make her feel like she's the prize, like she's doing you a favor, she feels powerful but not attracted. But when you make her feel she has to earn your attention, that she's lucky to be with you, she feels challenge and excitement. This emotional state creates the obsession that leads to love. She needs to feel a light, intoxicating tension from uncertainty, not the suffocating comfort of complete predictability. Women are driven by emotions. If her emotions say, text him, you like him, she'll text. If her emotions say, he's low value, I don't like him anymore, she'll pull back. The key is to make her constantly feel she is reaching for you, but never feel that you are completely out of reach. The high value guy. The most attractive quality is a genuine abundance mindset. The feeling that you have options and you don't need this specific woman to feel complete. This isn't about actually having a harem. It's about a mindset about not being needy. When you have this abundance, you automatically do everything right. You don't chase, you don't overinvest, you don't sacrifice your dignity. You treat her well because you want to, not because you're afraid to lose her. This mindset is incredibly attractive. By holding back your interest, you become the bad boy without even trying. By not answering a couple of her texts, you become attractive. You don't need to do crazy things, you just need subtle tweaks in your behavior. Women are biologically drawn to men who can lead, make decisions, and take responsibility. When you constantly seek her approval or ask her to decide, you are failing this basic masculine role. Male leadership isn't control or tyranny. It's decisiveness, confidence, and a willingness to take charge. It means having a vision for your life and inviting her to join, not building your life around her preferences. For example, instead of, "What do you want to do tonight? We're going to try that new Italian restaurant," instead of, "Is that okay with you?" This is what we're doing. You aren't demanding, you are being decisive. When you confidently take charge, you give her the greatest gift, the ability to relax and trust your judgment. In any relationship, whoever invests more emotional energy has less power. Investment can be measured in many ways. Who texts first? Who makes more effort to meet? Who compromises more? The person who constantly invests more will eventually lose the other's attraction. This is a fundamental law of psychology. This doesn't mean you should never care. It means you must be a strategist with your investment. Let her invest in you first, then match her investment level. Don't be the one who is always reaching out, always planning, always compromising. Frame control is possibly the most important skill. Your frame is your vision of reality, how you see yourself, the relationship, and the world. Women will constantly test your frame to see if you will abandon your perspective to please her. When you consistently hold your frame, it signals that you are a strong, confident man who knows his own value. The man with strong frame control doesn't need to argue or defend himself. He simply maintains his vision with quiet confidence. He knows her tests aren't an attack, but an unconscious search for a leader she can trust. The cruel reality is that love and attraction are different things. Love is about care, compatibility, and loyalty. Attraction is about challenge, uncertainty, and the feeling of reaching up for something. Most men focus only on love. They are caring, supportive, and faithful. But without attraction, love is worthless. Attraction is the fuel that ignites and sustains the fire of passion, while love is the warmth it provides. She might care about you, but she won't want you. She might stay out of duty, but she won't be passionate. The men who build long, passionate relationships understand how to maintain both. They are caring, but they are also a challenge. They are loyal, but not needy. They have mastered the art of combining warmth with unpredictability, creating a magnet that is impossible to resist. The choice is yours. You can keep playing by the good guy rules and wonder why women leave. Or you can accept this uncomfortable truth and start creating the passionate relationships you deserve. Stop trying to win her over. Become the man she feels lucky to have won over. The difference will change not only your personal life, but your entire relationship with women. This is the pure psychology of female attraction. Use it wisely. If you want to understand these principles more deeply and master them, subscribe to the Psychicaria channel.